piece of legislation through a House controlled by John Boehner.
Without a Senate of over 60 Democrats.
He won't
without
be able
a
to get
majority
it
in the
through
House.
He won't be able to get it through the House.
And I think this is a good point because I think about Obama, and I think one of his great... I don't consider him a failed presidency. I think the healthcare bill, I think Frank Dodd, these are good things. Now, granted, you're more of an expert actually because you just did a recent interview with somebody, didn't you? We'll get to that. We don't have to talk about that. But, Will Jordan here, he writes for The Politic, which is a political journal that we have on campus. And
producers of MSNBC read it.
Yeah. I mean, people are tweeting all about it.
Yeah.
It might even have a wider readership than the audience of this show. Can you? No, not at all. But so you've actually just sat down and talked to somebody who does stuff with financial about Dodd-Frank. Give me in 2 sentences what they said. Was it good, bad, thumbs? If it was on Facebook, would we press a like? I mean, people press likes. People just say likes.
We need new regulation for the financial system. This is too complicated to accomplish those goals.
Okay, it's like thousands of pages, isn't
it? Right. The bill itself.
But there are certainly good things.
And then the rules that are coming out of that still haven't been written.
And why have they not been written? Why?
Honestly, because...
No, I'll tell you why. Republican obstructionism.
No.
Oh my God, I sound like Paul Krugman. Tell me.
This has nothing to do with Republicans in Congress. This bill was written. The bill was passed. It's up to people like the Department of the Treasury.
Oh, I see.
The Fed.
Okay, so we won't blame the Republicans for that. Okay.
This is just slow bureaucracy.
But can't we blame the Republican Party for at least something? And then in a few minutes, I want to get to this Mitt Romney thing. But I look at the Republican Party right now, and I blame them for a crap load. I'm not even know if I'm allowed to say that word on the air. We're going to be censored next week. But, I mean, who's currently the Senate Majority Leader, the Senate Minority Leader?
Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell. What was the thing that he said come the landslide victory of 2010, right? What is the first thing they asked him? He went on a show and they asked him, what is the number one thing that you want to do? And he said, the number one thing I want to do is I want to ensure that Barack Obama is a single-term president. Wow. That is some bullshit.
Right. The Republicans aren't perfect.
Not perfect. I mean,
a Democrat in 2004 would say that Nancy Pelosi's number one goal in 2004 was to win a landslide in 2006.
Okay, number one, that may be true, but also I don't think the problems confronting this country in 2012 are anything like the problems that we're facing this country in 2004. I think they've multiplied and reproduced.
That's
like
right.
Medusa's
So
head,
if Obama's priority in 2010 was to fix our problems, he would have negotiated with Republicans. He introduced a bill, I think it was his budget yesterday. It has no chance of going anywhere in Congress. It includes hundreds of billions of dollars in new domestic spending, raises taxes significantly, and it has a $1.3 trillion deficit.
Can you agree with me that hedge fund managers who are currently paying around 15% in capital gains, we should raise that to 17%. For fairness, and also because it's more money.
Right, so this is like the carried interest deduction, where hedge fund managers and very wealthy people who get the majority of their income from investments, they
Can we agree? Can we agree to raise it? Yay!
That is one tax.
2 points, Joseph.
One tax that I think needs to be higher. But when Obama says that all people in the top 1% of income earners have to pay 30%, that's absurd. Right now, the average for the top 1%...
just 30%? That's not too much.
The average for the top 1% in taxes is 24% or something. Somewhere in there.
That's not that much at all.
That's the highest of any percentile
so why is
of
that
income.
Well, under the Clinton years, taxes... Wow, we are really geeky, aren't we? In the Clinton years, the taxes were around the mid-30s, no? And then Bush cut them
the highest rate.
The highest rate. Okay,
the highest rate was like 39.
We're at 39, exactly. Can we not bring it back up to 39? We had good years during the Clinton years. I was born in the Clinton... I wasn't. Actually, I wasn't born in 1990. I'm turning 21 in 2 months. I'm very excited to go to Maury's, go to Union League. But let's get back to the discussion at hand. Will, what have we agreed on? Have we agreed on anything? We've agreed on one, that Obama's healthcare wasn't too bad.
No, we haven't agreed on that.
We haven't agreed. Damn, I was trying to slip. I was trying to slip that in here. I'll do like a list of 4 things, and number 3 will be something that we don't agree on.
The only thing we agreed on.
What have we agreed on so far? Oh, is raising taxes.
Hedge fund managers should pay higher taxes.
We gotta find something else to agree on. Let's talk about Mitt Romney. Let's see if we can agree a bit on Mitt Romney. Do you like him, or you're just voting against Obama?
It's a mix of the two. I think Mitt Romney is no one's first choice to run for president. If you look at the on-the-ground Republicans, they clearly don't want him with Santorum, Gingrich, all of them. The establishment Republicans also don't want him. Their candidates just didn't run. These are people like Haley Barbour, Chris Christie, Mitch Daniels. And so everyone...
Why do you think they didn't run?
I really don't know.
Do you think they want more time? Perhaps they just thought they'd lose, so they'd rather run in 2016?
Some of them, like Haley Barbour, his wife really don't want him to run. Chris Christie might think that he can do more in New Jersey right now. Right. So it's a mix of reasons. Okay. But I think everyone's kind of disappointed in the upcoming leadership of the Republican Party for kind of dropping the ball on
So you're not uber enthusiastic about Mitt Romney. You think he has a pretty good resume. He has a pretty good resume. He went to Harvard, got his business degree and JD there. Right? He turned around these Summer Olympics, Winter Olympics or something. I keep hearing that.
Winter Olympics.
But what about his private equity history? That kind of scares me. No? The fact that let's take a look at this for a few minutes. His private equity record, what he basically did, and this guy is loaded. I mean, he's worth millions and millions of dollars. Hundreds, right, exactly. He made moolah cash, right? How? But basically, these leverage buyouts, right? Making these companies that he would buy take on this debt. And regardless of whether they, went into bankruptcy or not, he extracted huge commissions. And that's what I think it really worries me. Okay? What worries me most about Mitt Romney is that, he talks all about capitalism and the values of capitalism, but this is a guy who perverted the system. Because of capitalism, because capitalism is a system of work and rewards. You do something, you will gain something.
You're sounding kind of Marxist here.
No, I'm not. I'm a capitalist. Well, come on. We're not going back to that old debate, are we? Well, but here, he's capitalism is a work and reward. For him, there was a very little work. I mean, he took on absolutely no risk, and it was all reward.
Why doesn't everyone do it?
Because I think it's wrong. I mean, I don't know if you want to change the laws, but I really think it's immoral. The fact that he made his Bain Capital made $300 million off companies that go into bankruptcy. Imagine if those companies had that $300 million. They wouldn't have to go into bankruptcy.
These were companies that were
parasites. That's a word that comes to mind.
Badly mismanaged. The bankruptcies were really... The ones that went into bankruptcy most likely would have gone into bankruptcy regardless of Bain Capital. Companies that came out of Bain Capital and have been successful, like Staples... Those were so badly mismanaged before Bain Capital took them over that they were being driven...
What about Chrysler with Cerberus Capital? So PEs, I don't know. They don't always do a good job, do they?
Yeah, what about... I mean, GM wasn't doing so well either.
Oh, yeah, it's true. And then what happened to GM until the government came in?
So now...
And now it had coming out of bankruptcy, had one of the largest IPOs.
Talking about rewarding no work, you have Ford that's... didn't almost go into bankruptcy.
Okay.
And isn't really doing much better than GM now. That was so badly mismanaged because the government came in and decided to reward those who were
Let's talk about GM because I think this was one of Obama's grandest moments. This is
another thing I will agree with you on.
Yes! Schwab, do you hear this? He's agreeing with me. If only life would be so easy. People just come into the room and just agree with me. You agree with me?
I think that the bailouts of the auto industry were actually successful.
Wonderful. I think that was a huge success. Hundreds of thousands of people now have jobs thanks to the government. So when people say, we just went out there, didn't we, for a second? When people say that the government doesn't know how to invest and it chooses market winners and losers, excuse me, it made a huge investment and it paid off. GM snaps all around for Barack Obama. But I do want to tell you, and maybe you'll agree with me, and I want to let you talk a bit more because I know how much you like talking, but I also like talking. Well. Maybe this room is not big enough for the two of us. For me, this is Barack Obama, president number 44 or 43. Oh, this is embarrassing. I think it's 44. Are you lying to me? You're lying to me. Just embarrass me, aren't you? This is his biggest failure. And I think, and it reminds me very much of Lyndon B. Johnson. Have you read anything about Lyndon B. Johnson? Liar. Wikipedia, that doesn't count. Many people compare Lyndon B. Johnson to Barack Obama, right? These two guys, Democrats, coming with huge social welfare reforms, right? Lyndon B. Johnson with Medicaid and Medicare. Barack Obama with his universal health care law. The thing about Lyndon B. Johnson was this, and biographies had been written with this exact title, that he was the master of the Senate. He knew the legislative process. Barack Obama, when was he elected to the Senate? 2004? By the time he decided to run for president, he had been in it for 2 years. He didn't know the legislative process. And so, yes, I blame the Republicans full-heartedly. I blame the likes of what's his name again? Mitch McConnell for saying stupid things like that, for saying blatantly harmful things like that. But I also blame Barack Obama for not understanding how to get a bill through like the great, great, great old Lyndon B. Johnson knew how. What do you think about that? Do you like my little speech, sir?
That
do I get points? I'm giving myself a point. That sounds like 3 points.
It actually sounds like you're agreeing with my point that Barack Obama is incapable of leading this country anymore.
But I would also argue that maybe there's a learning curve involved.
He's gotten less and less past every year he's been in office.
That is true.
So the learning curve isn't going too well.
You make a good... Should we give him a point, Schwabe? I don't know. Schwabe's nodding. Oh, okay, 3-1. All right, we'll give you the point here. But I think it's true. I just don't know what to do. But here's also the thing. Does anyone really know what to do? Barack Obama, he talks and he sounds eloquent at times. Mitt Romney, does he have any good ideas? Does anyone know how to get people working again? Because the problem is not so much you want to talk, say something.
I was going to say what we should do.
Yeah,
is that allowed?
This is really a one-man show, but if you want to join in, fine.
So the American economy right now is it's probably one of the strongest positions of economies in the world. If you look at
it's number one for now. China will probably overtake us.
If you look at Europe, Europe has very fundamental problems. If you look at China, I'm actually very nervous about the bubbles in China.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
You moving around your investments, shifting things here and there.
Back on shore.
Yeah.
If you look at the United States economy, we have a strong manufacturing sector that's becoming increasingly mechanized. We have a strong service sector. And then the housing sector is doing pretty poorly. But our economy is built to grow. And you can see that it's growing right now at a slow rate. But there's this energy in the American economy that just needs to be unleashed. So
my God. Did we hear that? Energy in the American economy that needs to be unleashed. You sound like you're on the campaign trail. You're not running for anything, Will. Why are you speaking like this?
So the problems with Obama's economic policies is that they're just spending. Infrastructure spending...
I would say investing. I think that's a right word
No,
here.
it's not an investment. It has no returns.
That's not true.
Infrastructure is important.
Infrastructure is an investment. Education is an investment.
Education, yes. Infrastructure is important, and we should continue to spend on our infrastructure. But then education is important. We should continue to spend on education. But what we need to do is make the American business environment the best that it can be.
Okay.
So passing 1,000 pages of regulations over and over again, changing regulations year to year, is not good for the American economy.
Okay,
it allows
we need traffic lights
and
to drive.
Giant corporations to be successful, but it doesn't allow the small businesses to compete.
You know something about this, don't you? About small businesses?
I love small businesses.
You love small...
They're the driver
my God. You see this guy?
American jobs.
Just get out of here and run for something already, Will, we only have a few more minutes of your time. I know. Our viewers out there... This is actually a pretty good show. I'm pretty happy with how this is going. We actually only have 20 seconds left of this show. Next week, actually, we'll be having another redhead join us. Will Jordan, native North Carolina, is a redhead. We'll be having Connor Crawford join us.
Good
friend,
Connor.
Former president of the Yale Political Union, and he'll be talking to us about the vital center, whatever that means. But Will, did we have a good time? I think I won this.
I would say I won. I enjoyed it.
It is about winning, Schwabe. It is about winning, all right? So... We talked a bit about Mitt Obama, I was going to say. Mitt Romney, Barack Obama. We had a good time. Didn't we? And sure. I hope for all those listeners out there, my parents thank you once again. They're just texting me now. They didn't even bother to listen in. Oh, crap. There goes 50% of the audience there. But for all those people out there, thank you so much for tuning in. This was The Political Pulse. It is February 13th. We will see you next week.